All right. Happy Monday, Inspire Beauty. It's our Monday night team training. It is June 10th, already 1/3 of the way into the month. So whatever goals you have set for yourself, whether it's in June or if it's a goal like halfway through the year, y'all, it's already 10 days in, 20 days left. Like time is freaking flying. It's insane. Tonight, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, get a couple announcements out of the way while we're waiting for everybody to kind of pop on. But tonight we're talking about all things Instagram once I get through our headlines. So Success Club so far, we've got Kristen, who's already at Success Club 6. Anybody you see with an asterisk next to their name means that they have enrolled coaches as well. So remember, that is also our dual goal. It's never just the goal to, have a bunch of challengers and enroll a bunch of challengers, but it's also to grow a team of people who are helping to continue the movement of inspiring others just to be their best selves. So I love seeing so many asterisks. Actually, I'm the only name without one, so I need to get on y'all's level. But people are also on the board. I love seeing names popping up. And so far, 8 lives have been changed this month and counting. Love it. Check out down below. Book club started last Saturday and it's continuing for the next 4 weeks. It's a 5-week only series. We are uncovering and unpacking 1 habit per week in the book, 5 Habits of a Woman Who Doesn't Quit. And last week, we just had such amazing dialogue around this idea that a lot of times, the assignment of refinement, the assignment of that pursuit, when we realize we give ourselves those gut checks, we realize, okay, maybe the problem is actually me. Maybe I need to work on not giving up in this area so easily. If that's you, if you're like, whoa, I've totally felt that, this book is for you. This chat is for you. And we've got 4 more weeks left. So you're welcome to join. You don't have to be with us every week, but I would love for you to definitely read through the habits so that you can contribute to the dialogue and discussion. Check out down here. We've already got Olivia looking super fly in her hat, and Heather. Make sure that you're ordering your Inspire Beauty hat. The link is available on the team page, on the event for Summit, as well as the Summit page. I've put the link in multiple locations, but you do need the hat and the gray Inspire Beauty tank top. We will be wearing those on Friday. Not during the workout, but during the sessions on Friday. And we're going to get some awesome team pictures at Summit. Speaking of Summit, up to the top right, I've got a little margarita there from one of my favorite restaurants in downtown Indianapolis called Nada. It's awesome. It's Mexican, and Charlie and I are just super excited to spoil our diamond coaches and above with a dinner at Summit on Friday night. So if you are a diamond coach, if you're gunning for diamond, if diamond's on your radar, you have until Thursday, July 4th. That means you wake up on Thursday, July 4th as a diamond coach in the back office, and then you will score your invite. By the way, the 4th of July is exactly 1 week away from the opening ceremonies for Summit. So it seems just so crazy. It's all happening so fast. Speaking of which though, you guys, next week, we've got a guest speaker. Her name is Dani Detra. She's freaking phenomenal. She was a premier coach last year. She is gunning for elite. She's just a rock star, a beast. She's got a daughter, and look at those abs. I don't even know, but she's awesome. And she is usually hitting around upwards of SC60. That is a 6 and a 0 put together every month. And she does so through Instagram and through inviting. And so she's going to be talking about that. I would love to see a full house jam-packed next week for Dani Detra. And then just know that the following Monday, if you're the type that likes to plan ahead, the following Monday on June, that is 24th, I'm going to be giving you everything about Morning Meltdown 100 for you to be successful when the launch happens on July 1st. And then on July 1st, we will be having our Summit prep kickoff call so that you feel like if this is your first time or your millionth time going to Summit, that you just feel ready to freaking go and excited with a lot of energy surrounding the event. So that's that's what's coming, guys. We've got Dani Detra. I'm going to talk about Morning Meltdown, and then we've got our Summit call, and then it's Summit week. It is here. It's upon us. Cray. So without further ado, I'm going to dive into tonight's topic, which is all things Instagram. And you can't really see this because of let me just slide this a little bit. So I'm going to talk through tonight about a lot of stuff surrounding Instagram. Now, I get questions a lot like, Brittany, how do you do your stories? Or what do you do? And first of all, I'm not really going to take the dialogue and the content tonight to just pinpoint exactly what Brittany does in her methods. Because number one, if you follow me and you watch what I do, like copy, right? Make it your own, take it and tweak it and adjust it, but you visually can see what I'm doing every day. Like you guys are so fortunate to be able to watch and follow along. You know, I'm fortunate for like the coaches that I watch that I'm like, wow, I'm learning from you and I'm going to kind of beg, borrow, and steal that and make it my own. You guys have the potential to do that as well. So most of the things I do on Instagram stories are through the app, like are things that I can use through Instagram. I don't go to like an outward thing to try to create something fancy. I use one app beyond Instagram stories, and usually that's Unfold, which is, I'll show you guys the app. Ooh, the picture of the app. So it's, if the lighting will be right, it's that white one in the top corner. Oh, not that. Of course. Okay, whatever. It's freaking out now. Anyway, the app is called Unfold, and that's the only thing I ever really do, and that's usually when you see like the cursive-y writing, it's through that. Everything else, you guys, is I just play with the features that Instagram gives me. So I'm not going to go into that dialogue tonight because I believe you guys are resourceful, and I believe that the way I've learned how to do Instagram stories, you're fully capable of doing simply by just trying and practicing and seeing what sticks, okay? Keep in mind that I'm talking to you guys tonight about Instagram and Instagram stories. And 5.5 short years ago, when I started this business, that didn't exist. None of that existed. And so these are things that I have had to learn and be resourceful of in my journey to be successful. And so I believe the same for you. But I am going to talk about some things that are really key to attracting and keeping dream clients, and just really like, I like to call them lifers, like those people that you just, they're always watching you. They're always cheering you on. They join your challenge group. They become a coach, whatever. And how do we find those people? How do we keep those people, right? So we're going to talk through 4 different things tonight. And I've got a couple bonuses at the end about growing your following. So all good things. But number 1, we're going to be talking about narrowing your niche. Niche is the same thing. It's your avatar. It's your lifer. It's the person that you desire to help. And so who exactly is that person? We want to narrow that down. We're going to talk about how to get to know your tribe better. Do you know what your followers struggle with, what their hopes are, what their dreams are? Do you know that, like, do you feel like when you speak into your Instagram story or you create content for your following to read, do you believe that it's speaking directly into their hearts, or do you just believe that you're kind of like putting something out there on social media and hoping somebody takes notice to it, right? There is an art form to this. We're also going to talk about number 3, how to make the most of your profile on Instagram, talking about your profile, your bio, the first 9 in the grid that you have, and also just talking a little bit about how social media, this mindset that social media now is your storefront, right? As a business owner, as a coach, like that's what it is. It is now your storefront, okay? And then lastly, we'll dive into creating killer content and just understanding that that really is the heartbeat of your business. And it's where you can have the opportunity to build that trust and add value that is absolutely going to attract and help keep those dream clients of yours. So number 1, narrowing your niche. Everything that I'm giving you tonight, I'm giving you a little mantra, a little something that I want you to like repeat to yourself for affirmation about doing this. I'm going to give you a goal and I'm going to talk about how to do it. So for narrowing your niche, the mantra is, if I speak to everyone, I'll help no one. When I first started this business, you guys, I was throwing stuff at the wall. I mean, I was talking to everyone. I was talking to men. I was talking to women. I was talking to like people who are older, people who are younger, people who wanted to get fit, people who didn't want it. Like I talked to every single stinking person, you guys, and I spun my wheels over and over and over again, because when I was doing that, when I was trying to cast my net so wide, so far, nothing was getting inside of it. I had to get laser focused on who my ideal client was. And if that person doesn't necessarily fit into my ideal client, it doesn't mean I don't work with them. But it's just the way that I practice constructing posts. It's how I speak when I get into my stories. I'm talking to that person. So your goal is to have that ideal client, that person that you're speaking to, your avatar, feel like you're talking directly to them. Have you ever had that? Has anybody ever had somebody in your inbox come back and say, oh my gosh, like you were, or in a comment on a post, they say, oh my gosh, you were talking right to me. Like you were talking directly to me today. I've had that. And I love when that happens, because I'm like, no crap, I am. I know I am. I know I'm speaking directly to them, because that's the point. I'm trying to speak to that person because I want to either get to a pain point that that person's experiencing, or I want to get to a struggle that they can relate to that maybe they're currently going through, so that I can reach out to them and let them know, hey, I've got a solution, right? So first of all, you've got to know who you're talking to, your avatar or your ideal client. Now, like I said, again, everybody that comes in the pipeline of Inspire Beauty or into the Self-Care Sisterhood isn't necessarily exactly that person, but they have things pulled from each category. It was really cool. That picture that's there on the left was at our workout at Summit last year. And what's really cool is all these ladies were strangers to each other. I'm pretty sure most everyone was a stranger except for myself. I knew everybody, but they didn't know one another. And the really cool thing about putting 10 women in one household last year was that it could go one of two ways, right? Everyone could like really have a good time with each other, or everybody could like really not have such a good time. Yeah. As women, like it could go south real quick. And fortunately, it was the better of it, right? It was that everybody got to know each other, and they felt like sisters that had known each other from a past life, right? Or like from years ago. And one of the reasons is because each one of those women has a quality of my avatar or my ideal client that they bring to the game that maybe overlaps with someone else's qualities, right? And so it was easy for them to get along because I know who I'm talking to. Right? It would have been way different if there was this like meathead gym rat guy in that picture. Like, I feel like the vibe would have been a little different, right? Like, you don't see that in there. The women that you see in that picture are very much like the women who I'm speaking to. So first of all, look at who you're already serving. If you already have clients, if you already have challengers, if you already have coaches, who of those clients, coaches, challengers, like who do you love serving already? What about them do you love to serve, right? Like, is it a part of their attitude? Is it something that they love to do? I know like for some of you guys, you know, like if you'd like to go do yoga, so like maybe you've got that in common with people. Maybe it's something as simple. I was talking to Raquel the other day and she's like, you love wine and you love Jesus. Like, we're just meant to be. And I'm like, exactly. That's how, like, I am speaking to the woman that loves Jesus and loves some good wine. Okay. And so you've got to know, who are you trying to serve? And if you don't have people right now that you're currently serving, I'd ask you to explore, who do you desire to serve? Like, seriously, create a list of all the qualities, like endless, tireless list. You guys, every week on your tracker, on your business tracker, there is a space for you to write down your target market. That's who you're focused on connecting with, right? That's how you find hashtags to go search for people and create relationships and connections with, because you're looking at who you want to serve. If week after week that part of your tracker is blank and you're not really digging deep into that, then I'd ask you to do that, because maybe that could be the reason why it just feels like your net is super wide and you're not laser focused, right? The other thing that I look at, you guys, when I'm crafting like my avatar or ideal client, my lifer, is I look at my own journey and my own transformation for little clues and little nuggets. So I might, I might look at my battle with depression, and I might look at other women who have struggled with something like that on a relatable level, and we could talk. I look for people in my journey who were teachers and just got burnt out, right? Because that's part of my journey and my transformation. And so looking at those spaces in your own life where you've started to improve, and then kind of looking at like the you of 3 years ago, like who were you 3 years ago? That's who you're talking to, because that's the woman you want to help, right? So also doing the dirty work of figuring out who that person is. Okay, number 2. So now that we've narrowed down our niche, we know who we're talking to, we got to get to know them. Like, we know who they are, but do you know them? And so the mantra for this one is, if I know what my followers struggle with, I can help them. The goal here is not to guess, but to simply ask. And then from the ask, we can connect. So how do we do that? How do we take away the guesswork? Well, we freaking ask, right? Like we create polls, we create questions, quizzes, where we can get to know our followers. I hear this all the time and time again. Nobody's taking my poll about my group. Nobody's taking my poll about Ultimate Portion Fix. Nobody's taking my quiz or filling out my link in my bio. And it's like, well, no crap, they're not. Like, I wouldn't take a poll on, do you want to buy this pack or buy that pack? Like, I don't want to buy anything from you right now. I just want to get to know you. I'm watching your story. And so I've noticed in my business, when I do polls about challenge groups, Rarely do I get engagement, but when I do polls and quizzes and questions about life, about getting to know my tribe, I get so much engagement, right? And so here's a couple examples on the side of things that have worked for me that you can most definitely try, as well as begin implementing regularly, right? This is not like, oh, I'll try it tomorrow in my story, and then you don't do it for the rest of June. No, like I want you to try this. This research is what I like to call it, at least 2 or 3 times per week. You should have something like this in your story. So on the far left, I was just talking, you guys. I was talking. It was like, I like to do a couple of video clips each day, just whatever's on my mind. And these were, I was just talking, but I'm talking with my hands like I usually do. And as I'm talking with my hands, I can see in the camera that my nail polish is like so trashy, like all chipped, all nasty, like it's not cute. And so I kind of stopped what I was saying and I was like, I totally need to go get my nails done. Like maybe tomorrow I'll have time to go do it. And so right there, I was like, what color do you think I should get? And then I put the little question up there, nail color suggestions. And I got such, like, you know, people tell me what they think they want me to do my nails as. And it's just fun because it's a way then, once they do that, I can go back and connect and be like, oh my gosh, yellow nails. I totally would never, would you? Like, you know, you can just go back and be a human. Another one that I like doing is I'll put a series of 3 or 4 quizzes, and the quizzes have nothing to do with a challenge group, unless like I'm trying to give people insight into like how I became a coach, or maybe like what my very first workout, Beachbody workout program was. Like I'll do fun quizzes like that. Part of this is fun because it shows me the gaps in what my followers know about me and what maybe they don't know about me. And sometimes I'm like, oh wow, I haven't told them that enough, right? We have to be really, really, really redundant with our message, you guys. If you're like, oh, I've already said that though. I already told, my followers should know that I have a dog because I mentioned him once. They don't know you have a stinking dog. You know what? You want to know why they know I have Frankie? Because he's in every single day, like without a doubt, right? And I say his name and I do videos of him and I do all the silly things he does. And then people think, wow, I like really relate to Brittany because she's got this funny wiener dog and I have this funny wiener dog and we can connect, right? It builds trust. It builds just friendship and connection. So when I do these quizzes, they'll be about anything. Like I did one right before our, and you guys can jot these ideas down too, absolutely. But I did a quiz series right around our anniversary that was all about our wedding and like how we did our wedding. So I asked questions. And some people, it's cool to see, like, what do people know about me? Like, because I have shared some of these things before. And so like who has been around long enough to remember that and things like that, right? So it's pretty cool. This particular one says my favorite TV show is, and then I put I don't watch TV, Fixer Upper, The Office, and I think there was one more, it just got cut off. And then you can select which one's the correct one, and then like confetti goes up when they get it correct. It's super fun. But from there, I will then direct message, get in my inbox with my followers who responded. And for example, if somebody put, I think the correct answer was The Office, but Fixer Upper I put in there because that's challenging because I really do like me some Fixer Upper. So if people put Fixer Upper, I message them, I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I love Fixer Upper. It's just not my favorite. Like my favorite show that I could just watch over and over and over again, The Office, hands down. Like when I've had a long day and I just want to unwind mindlessly, The Office, right? And then if somebody put A, like I don't watch TV, I could get into dialogue. I actually do watch TV. Do you too? Like, do you have a TV? Do you not have a TV? Because like, I totally respect that if you don't have one, and I'm able now to open up dialogue around that topic, right? And then the bottom one is just a quiz. And like, I was talking all about Aladdin. Charlie and I were so excited to go see it. And so leading up to it, I was like just super pumped. And so I did a quiz about, have you seen Aladdin yet? And this allowed me the opportunity for the people who saw it to talk about the movie, like their favorite parts or did they like it better than the original, things like that. And then the people who hadn't seen it, but they're going to, like, you know, I could go give them like my tips, like, oh my gosh, like you really need to see this because it was so cute, like whatever, right? But it offers a chance for me to get to know them. Now you might be saying, Brittany, the mantra was, if I know what my followers struggle with, I can help them. But sometimes I'm not going to necessarily do a quiz like, what do you struggle with more, depression or anxiety, right? Like that's a little like, boom, like that's a little like forward and aggressive. But allowing people to get to know me through quizzes or offer their opinion for a nail color suggestion or telling me if they've seen Aladdin versus not seeing Aladdin, it just gets me to be able to get in an inbox and connect with them on a real level that has nothing to do with selling them anything. And from there, I absolutely could get to know maybe a little bit more about where they struggle, because as we build connection, it's just like any friendship. I wouldn't go, like if I met somebody at the supermarket and we always shopped at the same time, right? Like maybe we always shopped on Friday morning and I always see them. The first time I see her, I might smile and, acknowledge her existence, right? And then maybe next Friday we're shopping at the same time and, I smile again, acknowledge her existence, wave. Maybe the next time I'm shopping, same thing, smile, acknowledge her existence. And maybe this time I say hi to her and ask her what her name is, right? Like there is a progression that happens like in person. So when we get behind a screen, it doesn't have to be any different, you guys. It's like all of a sudden we like clam up like we don't know how to be humans when we're behind a screen. And the reality is like, how would you act in person? You wouldn't go up to that same woman in the grocery store the first time and be like, hey, what do you struggle with most? She'd think you're a freaking nut job, right? Like she'd think you're a nut job. So same thing, like you don't need to do that, but you can build connection through these sorts of things. And like I said, research only, no sales. So research doesn't have to be like geeky sciencey. I'm researching who in my tribe saw Aladdin. I want to know because you're my tribe. You saw Aladdin, we should hang out. I want you at Summit. I need you to be a coach because you need to be on Inspire Beauty, because you need to be at Summit, because I just want to see you in person. Like that's my tribe, right? If people, like when I can kind of connect with people about my favorite TV show or nail color suggestions, you tell me I need to do my nails neon yellow, we might not be able to hang out. I don't know. Just saying, right? I see some stuff popping in the chat. I'll look at it when we're done. But yes, so research only in this way, no sales, right? Yes, every once in a while you could do a call to action in your story about this. But guys, sometimes when I pop open stories, occasionally when I go through our team and I'm looking at like, okay, what's our team doing? How are you guys, crafting your stories, and what can I learn from you? What could I maybe help guide you better with? The biggest thing I see time and time again is that we are only doing Beachbody in our stories. And I don't get you. And your tribe, if you're like, no one wants to join or everyone ghosts me, because you are a walking billboard. And that's it. That's what it is. And I've been there and I can talk from that level. But one of the reasons why people are so quick to be like, sure, Brittany, I'll join, or sure, I want info, is because I'm a freaking kind human being in my stories that this person feels like they can trust, right? And it has taken time to build that, but it absolutely can start now. So research often. I am challenging you 2 to 3 times a week. So like a poll, like tomorrow, you're like, okay, tomorrow I need to put a poll that has nothing to do with Beachbody and something to do with my life. Okay, the next day I need you to put in a question that has nothing to do with Beachbody, everything to do with like my current life, right? And it can be so stupid. Guys, that nail color suggestion one, that was literally me realizing that my nails looked crazy while I was on the video. And from there, I was like, I'll ask him what color I should do. Like, it wasn't like a planned out thing that I thought of for weeks and weeks before I implemented. I literally just did it. In that same story, I was talking so excited about seeing Aladdin. And so all I did was put in a poll, have you seen it yet? Right? Because it had just come out the day before. And obviously the quiz ones are a little bit more thought out, and I usually use like the same picture for like all 4, but they're just fun, random things about me that people have really enjoyed doing. And then broad questions, I put this at the bottom because broad questions we ask versus specific. Let me give you guys kind of an example here. We want to, like I said in the beginning, we want to be specific with what we're asking of our followers and try to get to their pain points and try to figure out what they're struggling with. But like, gone are the days of saying, do you struggle more with fitness or do you struggle more with nutrition? But more specific, like, do you struggle, like in regards to meal planning, do you struggle more with knowing the right amount of portions, or do you struggle more with emotional eating that derails you? Ooh, now I just got really specific. Now I'm talking about ultimate portion fix versus 2B mindset, aren't I? Because I just put in an example of each. So rather than saying, do you struggle more with fitness or nutrition? Well, that's really broad. And that is, you could do that poll. Absolutely. Like, that's not terrible. But if we get a little bit more specific, now we can really understand because when someone says I struggle with fitness, I don't have an answer for them other than bod. And if they don't want to do home workouts, like, our conversation's over, right? But if somebody tells me when it comes to meal planning and meal prep, they struggle more with the emotional eating side, now I can have a serious dialogue about 2B Mindset and Alana and her program that she's created that Beachbody partnered with, right? if they tell me that the portion sizes and just like prep in general and knowing like what to eat each week, ooh, now I have a program called Ultimate Portion Fix that you're going to freaking love because it's going to take the guesswork out of it, right? And so you can be you can target your next ask based off of that question because you're being more specific, okay? All right. Next one, guys. We got to make the most out of our profile. Most of us do a really great job of this, but there's just some tweaking that I think might help you. And part of it is that Instagram's ever evolving. So I'm ever tweaking my profile and ever crafting it to be exactly like what's going to catch someone's eye or make somebody stop and stay a while. I want people to stay a while, right? So when you go to like follow people and you're like, Brittany, I'm following all these people and they're not following me back, maybe this particular tip is going to be beneficial to you. So number one, the mantra is social media is my storefront. This might be a really challenging concept for some of you because in the beginning it was challenging for me because I would talk about things like Miami Heat basketball and going to have a beer for the game, and it had nothing to do with my brand. And I talk about that, and then the next day I talk about join my challenge group. And like I was all over the map. And most of us are, when we start as coaches, we've had our social media for a while, and all you've ever used your social media for was to find your friends from high school, maybe show your family pictures to your family that doesn't live near you, right? Like I know my mom and my grandma got Facebook after my nephews were born because they wanted to see the pictures. And so sometimes people have social media for those purposes because they want to see pictures of the kids or the grandkids or whatever. But this is a transition, and it's one that like I will stand solid on, that if your social media isn't your storefront, then it's just never going to work because you're going to be all over the place. Yeah. If I went to Target one day, like Target's Instagram page, and one day Target was like all showing me like the dot and like the dog and like their dollar spot, and I saw that, but then I came back the next day and like Target was talking about like Donald Trump and like this whole thing, it just would be, I'd be like, wait, Target, like this is who you are, Target. Why are you doing this? Right? And so we've got to treat everything the same way. And so one of the things that I ask myself, well, we'll get to that in a second, but before I post anything, I'm always going to ask myself some questions to see if it's in alignment with the fact that my social media is my storefront. Okay. So the goal is to make your profile and your feed reflect and help the business you desire to create. Okay. That does not mean that you don't have to be you, that you don't get to be you, but that just means that everyone doesn't need to know everything. Does that make sense? Everyone doesn't need to know everything, and you don't have to share. Just because you saw a cat video that was super cute doesn't mean that you have to share it on your page if it's not in alignment with your brand. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. The other question I get asked a lot is, Brittany, should I make a separate Instagram or Facebook page for my business? Nope, you should not. I have a separate one on Facebook for my business, literally never use it. It is a waste of space right now. And every coach that I've ever watched create a second page for themselves on Instagram has always gone back to the drawing board to having one page because it is such a labor of time to keep both of them running successfully. Okay. So no, the answer is no. If you're like, I'll just keep this one private and it'll be all about my cat and my little dog, and then I'll do a different one, you're wasting time. You're just wasting time. You could be helping people and all the time you waste creating another Instagram at this point. Okay. So no. Okay, so let's talk about how do we make our profile and our feed reflect the business that you desire to create. Remember, your business, not mine. So you can absolutely go to my page and get inspiration from what I've done, but that's my business and it's what I create, or it's what I desire to create, and it's in alignment with my definition of success for me and for my family. But your definition of success in this business might be slightly different. Your business that you desire to create might look different than mine. And I hope so. So my goal right now is not to get you guys to be a walking copy of Brittany. I want you to just put some consideration into what your profile looks like. So number one, the picture should be clear and it should be of you. If I go to your page and it is a picture, it's like words, I don't know what that is, right? Or a little quote. If it's a picture of like, it's so tiny, like you're in it, but like it's mostly your kid and mostly your dog, like licking the kid's face, not good, right? Like I want it to be you and I need it to be clear, because that's literally all most people have to go off of when they're deciding whether to follow you or not. Your name can go in your name field. And I've also heard a lot of people saying that it's helpful to put what you do or what you are in the name field. So for example, mine says Brittany Frost in my name field. That's the big part across the top. My name field says Brittany Frost, but I've seen people put like Brittany, social media marketer, right? Or Brittany, fit coach. And that way too, guys, when I do this, the reason why they would do that is when I do a search on Instagram, if I search fit, Brittany Frost is not going to come up. But if I put Brittany and I put fit coach, I might pop up in their search bar, right? So if you think about like what people aren't necessarily searching for my name, but they might be searching for what I do. And so people have said that that is helpful. I have not tried it and done it, but that is something that I'm hearing lately is helpful in the Instagram world. Okay, in your bio, I should know like, who are you? And make it light. So dog mama to Frankie, and I have a little hot dog there because he's a wiener dog. It's funny, right? Married to Charlie. My husband loves wearing hats. He is a hat man to a T. And so I have the little like hat guy, right? That's funny. Lover of all things fitness and food, pizza and a little plant, right? Gotta have balance. And then after that, I have a call to action with a link. Okay. Now my call to action is very soft. It's not like tap the link for, to start your fitness journey. You could absolutely do that. But mine just says self-care and then it has an arrow so that I'm drawing people's eyes down to like, if it's, wait, self-care? What is like, oh, what about self-care? Curious, right? Tap that. So I encourage you to have some sort of call to action. So your little blurb about who you are, it can be very, very tiny. I've seen one that was like one person today put that she was personally not harassed, personally victimized by Target was like one thing in hers. Now that just tells me that she loves Target, that she shops way too much at Target, and anyone else who shops way too much at Target can relate to that, right? And find humor in that. So keep it light. But with the call to action and the link, one thing that I used to do is I used to use something called a link tree, and I've actually gone away from that. And one of the reasons I've gone away from that is because every time I go to somebody's profile and they have a link tree, I automatically know that they're probably trying to sell something. And I'm sure that you can see it as well when you go to see if you should follow somebody, like, oh, they have a link tree, they must be selling something. People catch on to these things very quickly. And so Linktree is really great. If you don't have a Linktree and you don't know what it is that I'm talking about, Linktree is a way to put multiple links on one page. So if I click on the Linktree, it'll pop up, maybe my challenge group application, maybe my coach application, maybe it'll take them directly to Energize if they want to purchase Energize, whatever it is, maybe my blog, and so I can put multiple links in one location. What I've done instead is I create what's called a bit.ly, and bit.ly is just a way to make your own link. So the Self-Care Sisterhood link there, when they click on it, it goes to the Google Docs application. And really, if I put that in there, it would just be an ugly link. It would just say like Google.5432. It would be Google's link for me, right? And it's ugly. And so because I want it to look aesthetically pleasing and I want people to know when I click on this, it has something to do with the Self-Care Sisterhood, I've made a bit.ly. So you just go to bit.ly, and when you go there, you take whatever link that you want, you put it and convert it into a bit.ly, and from there you can edit it so that it has whatever words you want afterwards. I use this and I rotate it. So if right now I want people to fill out my application for my challenge group, bit.ly Self-Care Sisterhood goes to my application for my challenge group. If in a week I want them to go look at, we're doing a coach sneak peek and I want them to fill out information about maybe joining Inspire Beauty, then I'll have my link for that. And I rotate it and change it reflecting what I'm marketing. If I'm simply just wanting them to go read a blog article, it goes to that, right? So I think that works a lot better for me than having a big fat link tree. And I just rotate it according to whatever it is I'm marketing. It also keeps my focus. Like it keeps my focus. Right now I'm marketing towards the Self-Care Sisterhood. I'm not marketing towards necessarily just coaching, right? Okay, let's talk about highlights. So in the highlights at the bottom, when I'm new and I come to your page, your highlights should tell me what's most important about you. What do I need to know about you that I'm going to find out real quick in the highlights? So the way that I did this, you guys, and to make it kind of aesthetically pleasing as well, is I just used Word Swag, the app Word Swag, and I made these Instagram story template images, right? They have the words there. So it's got, it's talking about my morning inspiration, food, self-care, Frankie, and Beachbody. Instagram, no, Inspire Beauty. And I just created those there. And then when you get into making story highlights, you can select which one you want to be your cover. So then I just select that one to be my cover so that when somebody comes to my page, they see like a cute little cover on each of these. And then I just used emojis because that's just my vibe. I'm an emoji kind of person, but you can write words under here. You can do however you want it to do. But if you don't have highlights, or your highlights are kind of a mess, maybe considering making them more visually appealing so that people are like, oh, if I click on this one, I'm going to see everything about her being a dog mom. But if I click on this one, I'm going to see everything about self-care, right? And then your feed, when you scroll down and you start looking at the feed, is everything cohesive? Does it have a good look and feel to it? Guys, presets are what I use to have my filters. So I go on Etsy, I buy a preset, I look at their directions for how to get it on my phone and all that good stuff, and I follow the directions and I YouTube, Google search bar it out. And presets are what make my feed look cohesive. So they all have a very similar color to them in the filters, and they just look more professional quality than the actual image itself. Okay, and I can show you, I've shown people in one-on-ones before, but I'll show you. Let me just show you. Okay, so this is the picture. This is a picture that I took the other day during our book club. That's it with the preset. Book club, preset. Book club, preset. I didn't do anything. That's a preset. So if you're like, what's a preset? First of all, Google it, preset. But presets are basically what a filter would be. And Instagram gives you filters, yes, but they don't look like professional photography. So I've invested, $10 in buying a preset pack, and then I put the pack on top of my pictures, whatever filter I want on top of my picture, and then bada boom, bada bing, it looks more professional in terms of the photography. So my look is very cohesive. It's got a same feel to it, and that's what I use to create that, okay? All right, let's talk about content. Okay, so the mantra is, I build authentic relationships because I'm consistent in my message. Number one, consistent in your message, right? The goal is to have your followers think that you're reading their mind and that you're like long lost BFFs, right? And the only way to do that is if you are creating content that is consistent to who you are. Back when we talked about your avatar, right? It's consistent to who you are. If I never ate a cupcake, where'd it go? If I never ate a cupcake, and my message was like super, super duper clean eating, this might be a weird post. And it probably the dialogue or the copy, the words that I'm using in this would not be the same. But in here, I talked about why, yes, I am having a cupcake for breakfast. And no, I'm not even mad about it. It's called balance. And I had like 15 comments and I had 74 likes on this. I got a lot of engagement off of it at that time in my business because it was something that people could kind of relate to. It was my followers could relate to it. The reason they're commenting on it, I didn't even ask them to comment on it. I didn't even give them a call to action, like comment below with what you're eating for breakfast or anything like that. I didn't even do that. But because this was so in line with like Brittany and who she is and what I preach about, people were like talking about it because they can relate, right? Consistent content that addresses. Now, addressing things like challenges and how to overcome them. So we can talk about the challenges we face. We can talk about the problems that we have, but we have to come at them with an angle of solution or how we have grown because of what we do as coaches and now are able to like get past it, right? So my post is not simply just going to be, I woke up with a headache today. That's not it. Like my post is not going to be talking just about the problem. It can't also be like, send positive thoughts. I have a headache today. No, send positive thoughts. I have a headache today and I don't feel like doing my workout. Not really. Send me some positive thoughts, y'all, because your girl woke up with a headache, but after giving myself a little bit of a pep talk, a little bit of some ibuprofen and a whole lot of unicorn juice, I did my workout and busted it out. So show me some love. Do you see like a difference, right? Like I took the problem. I still had the same problem, a headache. I guided my followers through maybe what my potential solution was. And then I gave them the opportunity to maybe engage with me and share and send me some positive vibes and love, right? Because maybe I still need it. Okay. Very different types of talking there. Okay. You can also create content that addresses their dreams or desires, pain points, questions that you continue to get in your inbox. Answer them in your posts, right? Create posts out of what you feel like you are a broken record about. Oh my gosh, what a bummer. Hold on, you guys. There's a whole slide missing. And I'm super sad about it right now because it's like the second part of that. And no. There's like a part 2 of the how-to that didn't make it. Let's see if it's there still. Okay, it's loading. Let's see if it's still in here. I hope it didn't get deleted. That would be a big bummer, but I've got notes here, so I can just tell you kind of what that next to last slide said. Well, yeah, what a bummer. It is gone. Okay, so whatever. That's fine. Plan B, rolling with it. So a couple questions I ask myself anytime that I'm going to go post, right? Because remember, I'm not just posting to post. Social media is my storefront, and I'm building authentic relationships because of my message that I'm sharing consistently, not because I'm just blasting something up on social media and hoping that people like it and then I can invite them to my challenge group, right? It doesn't work like that. So I ask myself, does this educate other people? Is this an opportunity for me to teach somebody something, right? I ask myself, does this entertain my tribe? This post right here with the little cupcake, that would absolutely be an entertainment post, right? Like, oh, checked it off. This is just for entertainment. This is for them to see that I'm a little bit silly sometimes and I don't take life too seriously because I am, in fact, having a cupcake for breakfast, right? And then also, does this empower my followers? So I want to ask myself that, right? I also want to make sure that they are the hero of the story, not myself. Consistently talking about me, and I is only going to make me the hero of the story, and it will never take my followers to a place where they believe they can do it too, right? You can do that rather than saying like, I used to be so terrible at getting my workout done in the morning. Instead of saying that, you could say, we've all been there before. The alarm goes off. You don't feel like getting out of bed and you want to hit snooze for the millionth time, but you know that if you don't get your workout in now, then you're never going to have time for it as the day progresses. We've all been there before. And something I've figured out is da, 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 and you can go on, right? But now you're putting them into the story like, wow, yeah, you know what? I'm actually scrolling this and reading this as I just hit snooze and I'm wasting time, right? And so like you're putting them into that space where they're the hero and they realize, wow, if she could do it, so could I. Everything in your post should always have a hook, which is something that brings them in, and a call to action, which is something that gets them to engage. Let me break down a hook really quick. A hook is, for example, your picture could be a hook. It could be something that's very scroll stopping, right? Maybe very distinct. A sweaty selfie is probably not a good hook, guys, because there's so many sweaty selfies out there on the internet. But me with a cupcake and my like furrowed brow, that's a little bit scroll stopping. But in the copy, in the words, you guys, I wrote, why yes. Yes, I am having a cupcake for breakfast. I believe that is scroll stopping, stop worthy to be like, whoa, she's having a cupcake for breakfast. This girl's like a health person. Let me stop and read, right? So we want something that hooks them in, that stops them in their scroll, whether it's the picture or whether it's the opening line that you've got there. So important. We want them to stop. You want them to hang out longer. Instagram rewards when people hang out longer, okay? And then we want a call to action. The call to action does not always have to be, hey, double tap if you want to join my challenge group, or comment below if you want in, or put an emoji if you're joining. Like, it doesn't have to always be about a challenge group, but a consistent call to action. It could be, love this if your breakfast was totally unhealthy too, right? Like I could make this one post right here even better by adding in a call to action. Give me some love and tell me what you ate for breakfast, right? I'm telling my followers what I want them to do. So if you're stuck on content, think about it. Where can you be educational? Where can you show them behind the scenes of your life? This is definitely behind the scenes. I showed my followers that I had a cupcake for breakfast. I totally could have kept that private between me, myself, and that cupcake, but I showed them. You could be creating content on your mission, why you're here. Why do you even have an Instagram page? What's the freaking point, right? What are you trying to do on this beautiful planet with this one life you've got, right? What's your mission? What about the community? Do you talk about your community that you're creating, your groups? Do you talk about that? Do you talk about what you do and what you have to offer, or just overall inspirational content? So if ever you're stuck, you're like, I'm just so stuck, I don't know what to post about. Those are all great areas where you could check off and say, okay, today I could just be educational. I could give them some value and tell them how I make this really delicious meal that I make for my family, once a week, a staple in our house. Or maybe today I got to talk about my mission. I got to talk about why I'm here, and I want them to know about it, right? Okay, last. These are just some quick little blips that I want to give you, because I know I need to get this out of the way. I know a lot of you guys ask all the time, Brittany, how do I grow my Instagram? So number one, hashtags. Okay, making groups of like 10 to 30 hashtags based on your brand, and then clumping them. Okay, so for example, in a post like this brand would be like home reno brand, like fixer-upper type brand / dog mom brand, right? Like all that would be this type. So any hashtags that I have that are of that brand, I need to clump them. These are like my home renovation brand. I'm going to put them together, and maybe I have some dog mom ones that I'm going to throw in with it too. This one, definitely dog mom stuff. This one may be like self-care transformation, all these fitness, self-care transformation, self-love. And then here would be all my food brand things, right? And so hashtags, you want to find 10 to 30 hashtags based on your brand. And there's an app, you guys, called Smart Hash that I actually put on my phone, and I haven't played with it too much just yet. But I as I was researching this, I heard about it, and it's really great. And it kind of does a little of the insight work for you. So if you put in some hashtags, it'll also counter back some other hashtags that maybe go in line with it as well that you could test out. But it also shows you how those hashtags are doing. So if you're using the hashtag like Transformation Tuesday, and it's like you're never showing up, like no one's clicking on you based on Transformation Tuesday because maybe you just get pushed down in the feed too much, it's going to tell you that it's not a good hashtag for you to use. So check out that app. I've got it. I put it on my phone. It's like got a rainbow hashtag. But check that app out. I'm going to be playing with it this week as well. But you guys, what you want apps. You want hashtags that are under 100K. You don't want a lot of users. You definitely want under 100K hashtags on that so that you don't get lost in the scroll. You can also become aware. Like when you go to a hashtag, for example, if I go to hashtag self-care and I see the top 9 that are there, like you want to be in the top. You want to be in the feature spot. Like that's your MO, that's your goal, right? And so if I click on one of the top ones, I want to see like what other hashtags are they maybe using? What about this post made them get into the top? Or maybe what about their page, right? And do some like research. Like some of this stuff, you guys, requires you to like slow down a little bit and like actually ask decent questions of yourself and actually do like some digging for stuff. Like a lot of times people are like, I can't find any hashtags with my people. It's because you're so surface level. You're finding, if you do hashtag dog mom, of course you're not finding anybody. That is literally the most basic hashtag you could possibly do for a dog mom, right? Hashtag Transformation Tuesday. No crap, you can't find your people. Everybody uses Transformation Tuesday. No crap, you're only finding coaches. You're doing hashtag Shakeology, right? Like if you only do the most basic ones or ones that only coaches would be using, then yeah, you're only going to find those people. So you have to start digging deeper. And that does take you saying, I'm going to spend 15 minutes today and just search for hashtags for being a dog mom, right? Okay, number 2 and number 3 they go together hand in hand. But it's a very new concept, and it's something I'm practicing right now, is that about 20 to 30 minutes before you post to engage, and then not posting and ghosting. So let me slide this over even more so you guys can see it. Okay, so 20 to 30 minutes before you post, go watch stories, interact with your people. Maybe if people commented on your stuff from the day before, engage with them and love it, give it a love, and then maybe reply to their comment, because you're kind of oiling the wheel to get it to turn, if you will. So this helps with people because you're now engaging with other people, that all these people are now going to see what you post once you post it, right? And then on the flip side of that, don't post and then ghost, meaning don't walk away, like post it and then close your app. Spend a little bit of time. And if you can't do like a full 40 minutes of like engaging, posting, engaging, 10 and 10, right? Just do something and see if it helps. But After you post, go spend some time engaging with anybody that loves on it, comments on it, views it, all that good stuff. And then 2 last tips for us tonight. So much about Instagram. I'm like so out of breath. Number 4 is hang out where your ideal client hangs out. So if your ideal client, if you love the hashtag like self-care, okay, and like that's like your jam, then go hang out at that hashtag. Don't just go to it and like follow people, like hang out there. Engage with the people that are there. Go on those posts and love them and comment on them. Hang out there. If you love a brand, like, you know, I love, I don't know, these headbands here are Maven Thread headbands. I love their headbands. I could go to that brand and hang out there. I could engage with that brand, love their stuff, comment on their stuff, and maybe reply to people who are commenting on their stuff and hang out there. Same thing with location. I could go to my local Trader Joe's and my local Sprouts and hang out where my clients are also hanging out. And then number 5 is hosting a giveaway with another small influencer. I've done this before to build my following. What we'll do is and guys, the answer is no unless you ask. Seriously, the answer is always no unless you ask. So I've gone to brands. I went to a marriage box and I asked them, I said, hey, I really love your page. I love your brand. I am a newlywed. Within my first year of marriage, I attract a lot of women my same age and in my same, you know, season of life. And I'd love to partner with you guys. Do you guys do any sorts of giveaways that I could, you know, partner with you with? They were like, yeah. So they sent me a free box and then we gave away a free box, right? I've done that with them. I've done that with, I've partnered with snack stuff. I've partnered with running socks. I mean, like small influencers that just want to be able to either shout you out or have you shout them out. And then you can tag people to pick winners or however you guys want to set up your giveaway. There's just literally endless amounts of doing that, but it helps to grow following with things that you have commonality with. Like people who like this snack are going to like me because I like the snack, right? So I don't want to say that's it because that was a lot for me just now with Instagram, but that's it, guys, of the slides. If you have questions, one issue I have is knowing how long to carry on a conversation before asking them to join a group, like too soon or so long, it becomes kind of awkward. And honestly, Heather, I love that because that's like, in what we do, that is a skill that you just develop over time. But I feel like I feel like we know though, like I know if I'm inviting you and it's out of left field and it's way too soon, I know if we're still, like if we're in the middle of talking about, you know, our weekend and then I'm like, oh, you should join my challenge group. Like that's not an appropriate moment. And I think sometimes we're just so concerned about what we can get from that person that we forget like that we're in a service industry where we're trying to serve people. So, and if it's so long that it becomes awkward, like the conversation's died out, that's where I come back and I'm like, hey, I don't know if you saw, but right? But I feel like we kind of know. Like I feel like in our gut we know like I shouldn't ask them yet. I'm not there yet, right? So it's every single person's different. Every single conversation is different. And that is like something I can't script for a single soul other than like, you just keep practicing. So many friends on the call tonight. I'd love if everybody could turn their video on if possible. If you're driving, please don't. I want to get a picture of us. Actually, I'm going to do a little video with us waving. And then I don't know who's in the middle there. iPhone, I can't see you. Olivia, I don't know if you could put your camera on. We'll get a picture. Are there any questions while we're waiting or anything else that? Pull it together, Olivia. Olivia, are you on your thing and your iPhone? Do you guys know who the iPhone is? Does anybody know who that middle? I see him in the middle. Reveal yourself, iPhone user. That isn't me. Thank you, Olivia. I think Raquel's in the bottom. She's on her phone. All right. We're not going to do what I thought we were going to do because I was going to have us all wave and it's going to be like pretty sad if there's like that many videos not on. So we're not going to wave. I will just take a picture of everybody. Love that you guys have been on tonight. Next week, like I love that you're on right now. But seriously, next week is when I need all y'all and then some to be on. And seriously, like on the event page next week, in the team page, please rally, tell your friends, tell your teammates, like, let's make Danny feel like, holy smokes, Inspire Beauty is hungry to learn, because I know we are, okay? So, all smiles, everyone. 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you gained some Instagram knowledge, but what I hope more so, you guys, is that you actually go and you implement some of this week and come back to our page and let us know how it goes, okay? All right, guys, have a good night.